Okay, so this one is strange to explain, but I'm going to try. You know that feeling where you're in the middle of a conversation, or a moment that should matter, or just doing something completely ordinary, and suddenly you're not quite there anymore. You're watching yourself from somewhere slightly outside your body, like you're the audience of your own life, not the person living it. Maybe it happens during arguments. Maybe it happens in crowds, maybe it happens at moments that are supposed to feel significant. A birthday, a graduation, a conversation you've been waiting to have, and instead of feeling it, you just watch it from behind glass. If you felt this, you're not broken, you're not losing your mind. Your brain is doing something very specific, and once you understand what it is, you might finally be able to stop being afraid of it. What you're experiencing has a name: depersonalization. It's a state in which you feel detached from yourself, from your thoughts, your body, your emotions, your life, like you're an observer of your own experience rather than the one having it. And its close cousin, derealization, is when the world around you starts to feel unreal, distant, flat, like a very convincing movie set. Here's something that might surprise you. Depersonalization is one of the most common psychological experiences in the world. Studies suggest that up to 75% of people will experience it at least once in their lifetime. And for a significant portion, it's not a once-in-a-while thing. It's a regular visitor. So why does this happen? Your brain has a protection system. When emotional experience becomes too intense, too overwhelming, too threatening, too much, the brain does something remarkable. It steps back. It creates distance between you and the experience, so that you can continue to function, so that you don't get consumed by whatever is happening. Psychologists call this emotional buffering, and depersonalization is one of its most powerful forms. Think about what this means. The moments when you felt most detached were probably the moments when something was most overwhelming, not because you were checked out, but because you were actually protecting yourself. Your brain stepped in without asking your permission and said, "This is too much right now. Let me carry some of this for you." For some people, this happens occasionally, in high-stress moments, during panic, after something shocking. For others, it becomes a default setting, a way of moving through the world that started as protection and stayed. Research shows that chronic depersonalization is significantly more common in people who experienced emotional overwhelm early in life. Childhood environments where feelings were too big, or where feelings weren't safe to have, or where being fully present felt dangerous in some way. The brain learned to create distance as a survival strategy, and survival strategies once learned don't always know when to stop. Here's the part that nobody talks about. Depersonalization can feel terrifying, not because anything dangerous is happening, but because the loss of felt connection to your own life is one of the most disorienting experiences a human being can have. You look at your hands and they don't feel like your hands. You hear your own voice and it sounds like it's coming from somewhere else. You watch yourself laugh at something and feel absolutely nothing. And the cruel irony: the more frightened you become of the feeling, the stronger it gets. Because fear is arousal, and arousal is exactly what the brain is trying to manage. So it steps back further, protects harder, disconnects more. There's a researcher named Daphne Simeon who has spent decades studying depersonalization, and one of her most important findings is this: the attempt to fight depersonalization, to force yourself back into your body through sheer willpower, almost always makes it worse, because fighting it is another form of emotional intensity. And emotional intensity is what started this whole thing. So what actually helps? The first thing is the hardest. Stop treating it as an emergency. Depersonalization is not dangerous. It has never hurt anyone. It feels alarming, but it is your brain doing its job imperfectly, but trying. When you stop treating it as a threat, the brain slowly stops needing to protect you from it. The second thing is grounding. Not in the way people mean when they say, "just breathe." Real grounding. Something physical, something that brings you back into your body without forcing it. Cold water on your face, the texture of something in your hands, the weight of your own feet on the floor. These aren't tricks, they're invitations. Your body saying, I'm still here. Come back when you're ready. The third thing is the most important. Start getting curious about when it happens. Not scared, curious. Because depersonalization is almost always trying to tell you something, that something felt like too much, that you needed more space than the situation gave you, that some part of you needed protecting, and your brain was the only one available to do it. When you start listening to it, instead of fighting it, something shifts. It doesn't disappear overnight, but it starts to visit less, because the thing it was protecting you from, you've now started to handle differently. You're not broken, you're not disconnected, you're not failing at being present. You're someone whose brain learned to create space between you and too much in the only way it knew how. And that space, even when it feels lonely, was always meant to keep you safe. Learning to come back into your life fully, slowly, on your own terms is some of the bravest work a person can do, because it means trusting that what you find there is something you can handle. If this finally gave a name to something you've been living with, subscribe. Because every week on Xeno Minds, we go deeper into the psychology of your inner world. And the next video is going to explain something about the way your brain works that will make you see yourself completely differently. Click it.